Hey, folks, welcome back to Divas, Diamonds, and Dollars podcast. We empower career women and business owners with the tools and strategies for living a bolder, fuller life. Each week, we give you the key success principles on business, leadership, and personal finance to help you succeed at a higher level and get more life in your lifestyle. Follow us to get ahead and succeed at a higher level. We are your hosts, Larisa Troche, and
Cecilia Benford.
I always like to start off with a surprise. Kidding, not a surprise, because everyone needs to update how they manage their finances and investments more effectively. So, would you like to know what money moves women should make in 2025? While the word gender is being removed in many places, there is still concern about whether women have achieved equality in the finance and investment industries. Okay, and we always like to report back on this. So, well, did you know that the number of women in C-suites for private companies doubled last year? That sounds like a positive. This could cause one to be excited about the 2025 outlook for the financial growth trends, which is what we're talking about this month. Still, it's early, so one must take intentional steps to join a promising projection and plot out what will be required to continue this momentum. Knowledge empowers women to make informed decisions in several financial areas.
All right, so here we have it. I think in some ways this podcast might be for me. So as I launch us into moves that women should make in 2025, and specifically, they give you more control over your hard-earned money. And that's whether your money is that you're still, at the working level, but even as it can become very important as you retire as well or get close to that. And so one of the things that I want to first start out is by saying that women must overcome their risk aversion to investing strategically for the long term. One thing I know that Larisa and I continue to communicate is consistency. But sometimes we probably need to emphasize, there's a difference between consistently taking short steps versus consistently taking long steps for your future, right? So I do feel the need to caveat these statements because thankfully we do have a worldwide audience. But the one thing we're not in control of, there are many unprecedented moves that have been made by the new administration, excuse me, that may in fact create some challenges or even steps backwards as corporations, in some cases, present roadblocks to hiring or promoting well qualified women, or they just take a pause. But ladies, we say don't let that stop you. Keep it moving. Okay. Analysis paralysis is not what we're talking about today. First and foremost, embrace financial knowledge in 2025 with technology and your financial story. Whoa. Okay. We talk about technology a lot. Now, what's this financial story about? So, Larisa made the statement early on. And, I love the word knowledge empowers and women. Three words. Knowledge empowers women. Well, specifically, as we talk about these trends, what are we saying empowering you to do what? To make informed decisions about debt management, credit scores, and investment strategies. Technology continues to be the key to revolutionizing financial knowledge. And so, as you know, people are always out there trying to improve apps. So I offer you three apps. The first one being Mint. Mint is a free online money management help that can help you with your budgeting and tracking of your money. hey, the good word is free, right? Online money management. Secondly, personal capital. That's something I had not heard of. And oh, by the way, if you have heard of it, it is now called Empower.
Mm,
So it's right in line with what we're talking about, right? Empower. Everybody understands the need to empower, to give you more access, to give you more control over both your wealth management and your financial tools. Money. I like their commercials actually. But you got to go do your own investigation. Rocket Money commercials, like any other commercial, they're 30-second sound bites, right? Sometimes only 20 seconds. But it's there to help you manage your finances and investments effectively. Now, one of the newest things that I believe I saw is that it talks about subscriptions. I don't know about you all, but I've joined the subscription age. And I always had magazine subscriptions. And so as some of those give way to other things, for me personally, I sort of lose track of some of these,
mhm,
because you just, where you start, okay, I've got to join, and they make it easy to cancel for the most part. But I've had a couple horror stories with this recent months. So I do like the thought about maybe seeing all your subscriptions in one place.
mm.
Rocket Money can help you do that. So whether it's news or your streaming TV subscriptions, check it out. Like I say, I've had to chase some things that, just kind of got away because it's out of sight, out of mind. It's charged to your account. And oh, by the way, I haven't even accessed that, and I was having problems accessing that, so why do I want to pay for it? Okay, just a little side note. So it helps you take control. It can also scan your bills to find savings. So it, like Mint does some budget monitoring as well, or helps you with that. Financial advisors. I don't know, Risa, if you've heard about this, urging people to tell their personal financial stories. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard of financial stories, no.
Yeah, it helps people understand their money motivations. And so I've seen this a couple times. I went to an Edward Jones event, and they
Mm,
had a person who talked about this. And she gave her background, her financial story, and that really impacted how she invested and what she invested in. And when I listened to her, I realized that my personal financial story was something that really drove me into how I look at my finances.
Before you move on, actually, I have. It was just the way you said it. I think I probably heard it. I have. It goes by many names, whether it's
Hmm.
your money mindset or whatever it is, but it's the stories that we grew up with about money,
Hmm.
whether we learned it from most likely learned it from our parents and our
Hmm.
lifestyle as we were growing up. So yes, I don't know why I said that. Maybe brain cells are still booting up.
Right.
Um,
Well, and I think and maybe I should have said, yes, because of course you would have heard about it. Using it, you know what I'm saying? I think there's more emphasis on using that to help
Sure,
us,
sure.
I
Yeah.
think, right?
I haven't, yeah, delved into it, but yes, I can see how it makes a difference to be
Mhm.
sure. And actually, as to personal capital, I did use it before it became Empower.
Ah, okay.
And I actually found it a good tool. I think it's good for people who are, well, should be all of us, right? Into the
Hmm.
numbers and doing the budgeting. And you have
Right.
to monitor your cash flow. And that is something that we just don't think about often enough. We think about our money coming in and the bills we have to pay, but there's some life in between those two functions. Um,
Right.
and we just don't think about that. But yeah, personal capital, I know what happened, but it's just
Yeah.
like anything else, you have to stick with it and make good use of the resource that it is. But anyway, so that was interesting to know that it changed names. But yeah, please.
And I want to give a shout out again. This really is a good follow-up to what we talked about last week.
Oh, absolutely.
Your different accounts, and also, you have to, when you come to our podcast, we are empowering women. and we try to certainly give you the latest updates, but you have to put it all together, right? And so it's really great to me to see. I'm glad we start talking about trends that someone realizes, okay, this is not your old have away your economy 101 or budgeting 101. No, these things actually do fluctuate. So in fact, the next comment I would make, and then I will turn this over to you, Larisa, is that I'm actually start seeing some different thoughts about budgeting apps and tools. Everybody knows that, the apps are out there, and certainly this is about, who's marketing what. But as I've been reading a couple stories, I would put a cautionary tale out there. Don't just jump on everything. But budget apps and tools are there to help you stay on top of your finances, and most of them are tried and true. But if it's something new, and you know, just be careful what you get behind, particularly if it's connected to anybody's personal investment strategy.
Well, I would say that, we're definitely the world, when I say we, definitely going digital, and digital's not all bad. It's just that you just have to do your homework. And that's the part about, because there's unfortunately a scammer on every corner, so just be careful.
Yeah.
And to that end, my my son wanted to invest in crypto, late jumping on the bandwagon, but it got him excited. And then he got to the account and he had to upload his ID. And he's like, oh, I can't do that. And like, well, if you go open a bank account in real IRL, in the real, in real life, you have to show your ID. So yeah, that's not something I'm excited about, but it's just where the world is moving. So, but do check out your sources, and verify the URL to make sure that it is secure. I do that still, because now I don't know if you noticed,
Oh,
Google doesn't have that
you
little block
must.
in the bar anymore. So you do have to click and make sure that it is secure and not a spoofed account. But we're not talking doom and gloom today. We're talking about some other trends. So let's look at whether or not you should follow all financial advice. And I know that's kind of a rhetorical question, but some financial advice could be tricky and AKA inaccurate or misleading. But I don't want you to go around feeling suspicious. I just want you to be aware and do your homework. And maybe it's not right for you because you want to make sure that you're not going to lose money. The whole point is to optimize your money, make it work better for you. So a couple of examples or myth busting, I guess if we want to just throw it out there. The saying is don't focus on what the investment cost, focus on the investment performance. And that's actually not an either or statement, that's an and, right? You do have to look at both of those factors. Morningstar, for example, states that expense ratio is a proven indicator of future fund returns. And I'll just say this, that none of these accounts are free. So that's the part that people don't think about. I don't think about it too often, but I do check now and again when I'm reminded. Even your 401k has a management fee. Your company may not be paying it on your behalf, but there is a fee because, okay, we do want these people to be paid because we want them to be, you know,
Work
we
on our
want them to
behalf.
be. Say again.
Work on our behalf, right?
Yeah, so they are working. They have a fiduciary responsibility to work for our benefit, and we want them to be educated, trained, and informed, so that we can be educated, trained, and informed. So just do check out your expense ratio. Um, Hedge funds with high fees open only to wealthy investors. They don't always pay off because, frankly, so many. What's his name? Oh, what is his name? Madoff. Isn't that
Hmm.
Madoff?
Hmm.
What, Bernie
Hmm.
Madoff?
Hmm. Hmm. Yes.
I think most of us have heard of him. And, everybody wants to chase the next best, greatest thing, and they want to be at the front of the line. But sometimes the front of the line has not had a track record or accurate research or even any kind of level of research. I do not aspire to be investing in a hedge fund, but some people may. All I'm going to say is trust but verify.
Mhm.
Um, and speaking of which, if only I had invested in Bitcoin and Nvidia tech stocks. I was a late adapter to Bitcoin. I've ridden the roller coaster. I no longer check it as often as I used to because I'm not trying to make myself crazy. But I don't want to say I'm kicking myself over Nvidia. It's a whole Netflix story. So say I don't know if you knew, but
Mhm.
I started tracking Netflix when it was at $13 a share. Larisa
Mm,
did not invest when it was $13 a share. That is my heartbreaking investment story.
right.
I
Okay.
I missed that boat bigly. Ah,
Yeah.
so,
Well.
late adapter, no adapter. Sometimes you do miss out. And, sure, just like any other stock, these have beaten the market, if you will, beaten market projections at times. But you know what? What goes up does eventually come down. So we didn't talk about it in this particular episode, but you have to know your risk tolerance and your time frame, right? Those will impact to a large degree what you, I want to use the word should invest in, right? So you have to consider all the many factors and be aware of what it takes to sustain that energy in a volatile world. So many changes. I'm getting old just trying to live through all the roller
I
coaster
whiplash,
changes.
whiplash.
And frankly, don't
Mm,
fall for the hype behind a company that's launching a new investment fund. New is code for untried, at least in my vernacular.
mhm, mhm.
So new is very exciting. I like new. I'd rather have a new pair of shoes, frankly, but still, wait and see and make sure that it's going to do what it promises to do. And frankly, beating the S&P index doesn't necessarily mean you're beating the market. An index tracks a sector, not all the thousands, million, I don't know if it's millions, definitely thousands of stocks in the stock market. So there's just so many things to look after. Now, of course, this doesn't consider the total return of the S&P with dividends reinvested, which you should do. You're not trying to get a $3 check. Just reinvest your dividends. And you may have heard the statement that you should buy permanent insurance, such as whole life, universal, or variable life policies. Maybe. Again, a lot of variables, but it depends on when you buy the insurance. Actually, what your family is, what are you trying to protect, and what happens when you reach a certain age? Oh, I had a I had a $500,000 20-year life term, eminently affordable. $192 a quarter, so whatever that turns out to be per month, 20 years later. Oh, someone had a birthday, $3,000 a month. I'm sorry, you talking to me? So,
I've been there. I've had two that I had to get out of.
yes, it's
It's
just
like,
ridiculous,
oh my
right?
gosh.
But the
No, no,
thing is, you
no.
need to do the planning while you're in that term, right? Don't wait to the end and say, "Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?" Don't get caught scrambling. Make a plan. So insurance is based on your age and of course underwriting factors, which there's another word for that, risk factors. So it's usually going to go up. That insurance that is so cheap when you're 20 or 30, it is going to be very unattractive when you're not 20 or 30. So, as many teachers state, consider buying term and investing the difference. Term is so cheap because it's strictly a death benefit, right? There's no investment underlying. It's just a death benefit for your family. Obviously, you're not going to benefit. Okay, we're not having an insurance class. But anyway, it is a whole lot cheaper. So take that, the savings, and invest that money so that you're not having to worry about what happens when the premium goes up when you've had
Mhm.
too many pages on your calendar, as I like to say.
Well, so as you can see or hear, that there's more to becoming financially liberated. That's what empowerment means to me, being free to do certain things, and particularly when we're talking about being financially liberated. And so this is an evolving situation for women that I believe, how long? I mean, if you think about the women's suffragette movement and moving forward, when were we allowed to do certain things? Um, I'm going to repeat some things. Yes, last year was a good year for the women in the C-suite, but towards the end of the year, we started seeing some pushback on women. You know, look at all the women who are, leaders of different government entities. Well, there's a reason for that, right? So now let's look at the financial part of this. Women only control about 30% of the world's wealth. And we do use the word world here because no matter what anybody says, we are a global society, global economy. Our money is intertwined with everybody's money. And the women are more than 30% of the population. Many women have the education, the financial and business acumen, but they don't control the money. So it is disproportionately controlled. There are women organizations, individuals like us who want to, facilitate breaking down these barriers. We must have open discussions about how to empower women. And I find when I talk to women, it's still a struggle. Women can be so smart and be really strong leaders in certain areas, but how they navigate money varies. So much of what holds women back is their mindset. And as I was listening to you, Larisa, I realized now I knew this about myself, and I've had myself score on what is your risk tolerance?
Mm,
And so I am forced to look at some things right now as I've made, some money transitions. When you said that about Eric, I'm like, I'm with you, Eric. I was asked to put in some ID information the other day. Actually, they said they would take my ID information, but then when I got to the signing part, they wanted my social security number. I'm like,
mm,
okay, first of all, that's not what you said up front. I was
mm,
not willing to do that. I'm
mm.
like, I'm done. It was a form, and I'm like, okay, I'll deal with the consequences. So that's my risk adverseness coming out. So you have to understand your money personality. And, so it's like your financial EQ, which is your emotional intelligence, similar. That's where the EQ is emotional intelligence. And so this, again, I said at the outset, this was a good one for me. But I'm also a woman that's passionate about helping other women in the world, whoever my contemporaries are, or people that I donate to facilitate this conversation. So I came across Lynn Twist, and I know her, but I'm like, oh my goodness, she's powerful. She's good people. So she's both a women influencer, and she's an advocate for establishing a strong relationship with money. She encourages women to articulate their purpose. So I know we have talked about purpose and we sort of have talked about it in the way of having a plan, checking your plan. But I think that sometimes, a business mindset could be one thing, but you do have to kind of go back and look at, okay, really, what is my purpose? Yeah, maybe I have a good product, but why am I doing this? And then emphasize the connection between the purpose and the financial freedom. I think that's important to go back and just, have a reset with that. This means you have to overcome external obstacles, and I would say maybe your family history. I think sometimes what's in the household, I've seen that. Two people have a different, partners may have different views. That could be quite the roadblock. And then the mental barriers. Some people just spend too much time in their mind with their anxieties and fears related to money. But that's why you have to understand why you think and feel the way you do. When you create opportunities, so two other things we want to associate with this, how do we help women become financially liberated is that you create opportunities. When you create opportunities for others, you create opportunities for yourself. When you mentor others, you get mentoring yourself. And so it's all about embracing these principles that we're talking about to empower you, right? Projecting you on that stage. So understand how determination can be impactful. Passion, determination truly is the foundation for your start, but also your continuing the desire to learn from those others who already are in a good space, who are still trying to do things. Um, I mean, I can name, as I talked about this, a couple other women that really have, to me, shown the way. And and their stories are they were kept down, they had some financial setbacks, and now they're, money moguls on the world stage, which is just tremendous to me. So I will leave my part with that. I have some chasing to do. And I think what it amounts to is just redoing, rethinking maybe some of what you've done in the past and go take a look at it. Just because you've always done it doesn't mean you always should.
So many moving parts, but I guess what I would want to leave you with is a healthy dose of why not me? And I developed that muscle some time ago. I'm happy to, to claim that because I mean, if we don't see possibility or think that we can do differently, our mind is what holds us back. Not that the opportunities aren't there. It's just we get stuck inside our head, and then those stories that we tell, well, write another story, write a new story.
Mm.
And yeah, when you just put that on your mirror, why not me? And frankly, we've only mentioned a couple. So what we want you to do, obviously, is get a handle on these tools and resources and work on changing your mindset today. It's already the second month. I don't know where the time goes, but it does get me a little bit of panic mode. Like, oh my gosh, I got things to do.
Mhm.
So make money moves for the future, saving and investing. That's not an overnight event. It takes planning, it takes research, it takes thought.
Mhm.
Remember, financial disinformation can trick you into making the wrong moves. Um, so again, trust but verify. We don't want to scare you. We want you to be informed, but we do want you to, and we want you to take action. But there's an and in this story. Your
Mhm.
action today is to review your plans for strengthening your 2025 financial roadmap, gentle persons. And you know what? I'm just going to do a special call out to my ladies, my grown folks out there. Look, I was a late bloomer. I consider myself a late bloomer. Just started having those conversations after 40. And if you're younger than 40, well, welcome to the party. Glad you got an early start. But if you're over 40, that doesn't mean you throw up your hands and say, I can't. It's too late. It is not. Every day you have a new chance to make a fresh start, a fresh financial start. Why not? So today's DPT, remember your earned money plus your passion can elevate you to be more confident and financially secure. Listen to women who are leading other women to being financially empowered. That's today's Divalicious Pro Tip. And make sure to join my private Facebook group, Divas, Diamonds, and Dollars Inner Circle, for a live DPT Q&A and a behind-the-scenes look at our podcast. Next week, we're back with another Voyagers interview series with Bafta Imam, an Emmy awarding journalist, now founder of Story Lead. He works with companies in marketing and empowering others to tell their story. Make sure you show up for that because I've always been so interested in becoming a great storyteller. Those are the best communicators. So we will see you next time.
Mhm.
All righty? All righty. Ciao.